Many years ago, when I was but a lad, around this time of year our church youth group would all pile into the back of Uncle Dave's commer van. Uncle Dave was my dad's cousin and our youth leader, and we'd drive a few miles from Winchester to the Romsey Convention. It was, I believe, one of the many offshoots of the Keswick Convention, and this particular expression of the popular Bible Week began in the mid-1870s in the grounds of Broadlands, which was, by the time we used to attend, the home of Lord Mountbatten. It was held in a very large tent and followed the usual programme of opening worship, lengthy prayers and an even lengthier sermon by some well-known Bible teacher from the staunchly conservative evangelical wing of the church. I think I may well have heard John Stott there once, but all I can remember of the actual talks was trying to see how many words I could make out of the letters of John Carter and Sons Basingstoke, suppliers of the tent and of all the chairs within it, which were each marked with the firm's name across the back. The other abiding memory of the event is that it was held in a field that had been specially mown for the Bible Week, and which therefore was probably the very worst environment to be in for those of us who suffered with hay fever. Indeed, the whole event was known by our group as Hallelujahs and Hayfever. Hymns from the Redemption Hymnal and Sankey's sacred songs and solos were accompanied by a chorus of sneezing and nose-blowing, and John Carter's name was visible to many of us only through eyes blurred by hay dust and pollen that filled the air and caused our eyes to swell and weep like older ladies seeing their grandchildren in the flesh for the first time after a lengthy lockdown. Mind you, I was used to it, both the hay fever and the lengthy sermons, but it's the hay fever I'm referring to here. Much of the summer, as small children, was spent playing around on the farm where my Uncle Harold worked, and myself, my brother and my cousin would delight in jumping from the highest stacks of hay and straw into the piles of new-mown hay below. So I'd return home in the evening almost unable to see or to breathe, but having had a most enjoyable day. And hay fever was a help, even at university, where a couple of Puritan tablets, washed down with a pint of Stella, would enable me to sleep through a good many afternoon lectures during the summer term. Most people slept through them anyway, but it was good to have the excuse of having taken medication if challenged by Professor Juden as to why I didn't seem to be taking medieval French drama as seriously as he'd have liked me to. And I still have problems with my eyes and nose at this time of year. Several times recently I've woken up in the morning and had to open my eyes manually, as it were, as the lids have been firmly stuck down due to the seasonal discharge, bringing back memories of my dad soaking my eyes open when I was a child and thought I'd gone blind. It seemed a bit strange having someone else open your eyes for you. In Psalm 119, the poet calls out to God to open his eyes. There, of course, it's clearly metaphorical, and the prayer is that God will open our eyes to see all God's miracle wonders, as the Message has it. The thing is, though, we can become so taken up with the little things that are going on around with us that we fail to see the greater picture of God's ways in our lives and his world. For the past few weeks, it has been very easy to become so obsessed with the COVID-19 situation and the details of its effect on our lives that we lose out on some of the amazing things that are happening in creation and in the world around us. In my own situation, in just the last 24 hours, looking out across the broad landscape of the Trent Valley in the evening sunshine, watching a sparrowhawk lift a sparrow, appropriately enough, off our lawn and away over the rooftops, joining with other Christians from the city in an uplifting and encouraging time of prayer on Zoom, and seeing the astonishing starscape in the night sky from the bedroom window. God has so much to show us in the natural world and in the spiritual world. So may our prayer ever be with that of the psalmist: Lord, open my eyes to your wonders. Keep safe, keep smiling, keep looking around.